Hello, my friends, and I hope you're really, really well. Welcome to the 7th video in this series called A Roadmap to Overcoming Imposter Syndrome. And today we are going to talk about the inner critic and our nervous system. To start shifting out of our imposter syndrome challenges, we need to learn how to regulate our nervous system. And I'm going to say this once again because this is really, really important, and I really want you to note it down. To start shifting out, like truly shifting out of our imposter syndrome challenge, we need to learn how to regulate our nervous system. A common mistake we make when we try to overcome imposter syndrome is that we focus on addressing the symptoms. For example, that very famous inner critic that we all experience. But the inner critic is a result of a nervous system dysregulation. And so rather than trying to change the inner critic directly, we need to focus on what's causing it in the first place. If simply working on changing the inner critic worked, none of us would have a problem, right? Because I'm sure you've tried many strategies to silence that voice in your head, and yet it's still there. This is why when we struggle with imposter syndrome, focusing on mindset work only is not enough. And I always say this to everyone because most of the time I see clients when they come and work with me, they tell me, please help me to work on my mindset work. But mindset work only is not enough. I introduced the importance of understanding our nervous system in my last video. So let's continue that conversation and let's build on it. The state of our nervous system determines the quality of our entire life experience at any given moment. We are experiencing life from one of the two states of our nervous system, regulated or dysregulated. That's it. And when we experience imposter syndrome, as you can guess, we function from the dysregulated nervous system. And so the key to finding the way out of imposter syndrome is learning how to shift from dysregulation to regulation. And when we break this down, it's actually really simple. The tricky part is putting what I'm going to share with you in these next few videos into action. This is where most people trip because it's simple, but it's not always easy. And so as we go, I'll explain why it is so tricky. But if you do this, I promise you, you will start noticing real shifts. So today, I'm going to start by explaining the states we experience when we are either in regulated or dysregulated system. Let's start from the foundations. And this will help you start observing where you spend most of your time without judgment. We don't want to judge ourselves. We don't want to blame ourselves. We don't want to criticize ourselves. But we do want to start being a little bit more self-aware about what is going on, how, are we really in the driver's seat of our life, or are we simply a passenger letting life move on autopilot without us actually having any influence on it? And so I'm going to dive in, and the same as in the previous videos, I'm going to pull a little presentation on the screen. I hope you're going to see it so that you get a little bit more visual of what I'm saying. And it might help you to put things and link things together. So you should be able to see that right now. And the information I'm sharing with you comes from Polyvagal Theory, developed by Dr. Stephen Porges, a neuroscientist and a professor. And of course, I am not a neuroscientist, but I love understanding. I love the science that helps me understand what is going on in my psyche, what is going on in my system. And these teachings really helped me personally to understand my own dysregulation and my own challenges with imposter syndrome. As you might know, I struggled with crippling imposter syndrome for years. Panic attacks on daily basis, anxiety the attacks on daily basis. And so this really helped me to get to the other side of imposter syndrome. And these insights that have created a foundation of my work with my clients today, because they provide a clear science-based explanation of what happens in your psyche when you are dysregulated. So as I said just a minute ago, we have got two nervous system states, regulated and dysregulated. And each of these states have got three states within them. And that's what I'm going to share with you today and show you how it links to the inner critic. So the three states of a regulated nervous system are, number one, social engagement. So this is the state where we feel safe. All of these states, by the way, when we are in regulation, we feel safe in the world and within ourselves. So in social engagement, we feel safe. We feel connected with ourselves and with others. We present, we are able to think clearly, we have positive social interactions. So in this state, we communicate effectively. For example, when you are sitting in a meeting, you are able to express yourself very, very clearly. We build relationships and we experience genuine joy, like we are really feeling good. Examples might be laughing with friends, having meaningful conversations, or just feeling focused and engaged in an activity. Like, for example, now, right? You are listening to me, you are feeling probably safe, you are okay, you are just being focused on what I'm saying. And the same for me. I'm feeling safe, I'm feeling okay, and I'm explaining to you, I'm being engaged in producing this video right now. Number two, play in this stage, play is activated, but it's activated from the place of safety again. So the energy comes in, but it's not like scattered energy. It's energy that is actually joyful and that is connected with a sense of safety. This is where we get creative. We like to explore in this state. We are in the state of flow. We are engaged in light-hearted movement or activities. We might be having playful banter with colleagues at work, or just engage in a fun challenge or activity that is not too competitive and that doesn't stress us out. This is when we dance, or basically, as I said, any kind of creative activity comes from the state of play. And then stillness and rest. Stillness is deeply restorative state where we slow down and recharge. So this is not when we are binging on Netflix or having 3 glasses of wine just to calm us down. This is a really restorative state. And in this state, we feel calm, we feel at peace, and we are able to simply be. Examples might be being in meditation, listening to your favorite music, or simply sitting quietly, reading your book, or just being basically just with yourself without the need of being productive. And this is very often always when the imposter syndrome runs our life, we are not really able to be in a quiet, restorative space, because there is very often this need of being productive. And we often feel that if we do not feel every second of our day, something's going to happen, we are not going to be productive, we are not going to be deserving. So it's easier said than done for people with imposter syndrome to drop and shift into real stillness and rest is really a skill to learn. That's what we are going to be learning as we move on in these videos. So let's have a look at dysregulated nervous system. And when our nervous system perceives danger or threat, whether it's real or perceived, and when we are at work, because we are talking about work, imposter syndrome, at work, in the meetings, in the leadership roles, it is perceived threat for our nervous system. It shifts into a state of dysregulation. And according to Polyvagal Theory, again, we have got 3 states of dysregulated nervous system. Number 1, fight or flight. So this is the state of hyperarousal, where our nervous system senses danger and prepares for action. So this is when we are really activated. There is a lot of energy in us, right? You know that, you're like, oh my God, something's going to happen. I have to do something. I have to launch into an action just to save the situation. So fight mode is fueled by adrenaline. These states create a sense of urgency, frustration. We get angry very often. So we might get irritable, defensive. We are not able to hear anybody else's perspective. And we are feeling the need to control the situation. Control is such a massive part of our journey with imposter syndrome. It's because we are scared that if we lose control, something is going to happen. We are going to be perceived or discovered as a fraud, as a failure, and so on and so forth. Flight mode is when the nervous system is telling us to escape, because again, it detects a danger. And so we want to run away. And it leads to restlessness, anxiety, and avoidance, right? We do not want to be there. And we might be just basically constantly staying busy because we want to avoid the discomfort of feeling what it is that we are feeling. And then we have got the shutdown. So shutdown is when the nervous system once again detects a danger, but this is overwhelming. This becomes really for us overwhelming danger. And the fight or flight is no longer enough. And this is the state of hypoarousal, right? So a fight or flight was hyper, shutdown is hypo. It means that we are very low on energy. We get into the places of numbness, disconnection from our body even, and we get very, very low on energy. So fight or flight, very high on energy, shut down, very low on energy. I used to get into shutdown all the time, and I still do when I get into the place of where I feel overwhelmed, maybe emotionally, or I feel like there is a lot of work or there is something big that is happening. My system has got a tendency to very quickly go into the disassociation and shut down. But today, obviously, I understand what's going on, and I have got the tools to bring myself back into the regulated nervous system. So in this stage of the shutdown, we very often completely withdraw. We feel apathy and we feel numb. And it might happen to you even in the meeting. Maybe you have experienced when you are in the meeting and you are actually saying maybe something, but after the meeting, you don't even remember what you said. And this is because your nervous system shut down because it thought it was too dangerous for you to speak up. It's not very practical, but your nervous system is trying to protect you from what it perceives as being dangerous out there. And so, of course, this then might lead to procrastination, you not being able to express yourself, and it comes with extreme exhaustion. You really feel like you are really drained of energy. And then the state number 3 is freeze. And freeze happens when the nervous system is caught between the fight or flight and the shutdown. So the body is activated, we've got all that energy going, but there is a sense of being stuck and we are not able to take an action. So this state often comes with a dissociation as well, and we can experience brain fog. Again, we are overwhelmed. It's that kind of situation, like when you want to do something, but you can't. You really want to start working on the presentation deck, but you really can't. You want to go and start something, but you can't. So it's 1 foot on the gas, 1 foot on the brake, 1 foot on the gas, 1 foot on the brake, stop, start. So this is when we are stuck between the energy that we have, but not being able to actually take action. And this leads to procrastination and due to that overwhelm. We are not able to make decisions when we are, for example, in this state. So all these states are survival responses designed to protect us. And when I say this to my clients, very often they go like, what do you mean they protect me? They do not protect me. They are actually causing harm. I'm not able to speak up. I'm not able to start the work. I'm procrastinating. And yes, logically, when we look at it, it doesn't make any sense. But our nervous system is not stored in our mind, and it doesn't have anything to do with logic. I said in the previous videos, nervous system is located in our body. That's why when we experience imposter syndrome and any of these states, it is so intense in our body because our nervous system speaks to us, communicates with us through our body. And it does so because it really thinks that we are in danger. And it does so in the way that it knows how, meaning shutting us down or making us procrastinate or making us run away. So it's really important to understand that really imposter syndrome, as nuts as it sounds, is protecting you because it thinks, your nervous system thinks that you are in danger. And we will unpack this and we will start looking, obviously, of how to start shifting from dysregulated to regulated system in the next few videos of the series. So I would like to leave you, before our next video, I'd like to leave you with a simple observation exercise so that you can start observing yourself. This will help you begin to understand the link between your inner critic and your nervous system. And it is a simple 3-step exercise. So daily check-in. Set aside a few minutes each day to notice when your inner critic is most active. When are those situations? Is it when you want to do something, or is it when you are presenting, or is it when you are going to a leadership meeting? Just start noticing and writing down really a couple of minutes when the inner critic is the loudest for you. Then, as I said, the body awareness is extremely important. So pay attention to what's happening in your body because we all will be experiencing symptoms differently. What is, apart from going on in your head, your inner critic going you that you should be doing it, or you shouldn't be feeling like this, what is happening in your body when the inner critic is in the driver's seat? And then keep a journal to track these moments. So you will start noticing the patterns between your inner critic's voice, your physical and your emotional state, And this will kind of start giving you a little bit of information about what is happening, what is the link between the inner critic and your dysregulated nervous system. And this exercise is purely about observation. So it's not about judgment. And so I want to invite you to just start observing and realizing that connection, and realizing that the inner critic is just a result. It's not the cause. It's the result of your dysregulated nervous system. And as I said in the upcoming videos, I will start introducing practical techniques to help you regulate your nervous system, and obviously then automatically start reducing the impact of that inner critic. So let me stop sharing so that I can say goodbye to you, and I can see you and you can see me. I can't see you, but you can see me. So I hope that this video helped to introduce and explain a little bit that connection between your nervous system and the inner critic. And as we move forward, we will be focusing on those very practical tools. This will help you in time, show up in the meetings from the place of calm, whether you are presenting in the meeting, whether you are leading the meeting. And it will help you to start being a little bit more authentic and a little bit more at ease when you are in your leadership role or when you are interacting in your workplace. So as I said at the beginning, this is the 7th video in the series called A Roadmap to Overcoming Imposter Syndrome. And I will leave the link to the full playlist in the first comment of this video. If you are a leader in the corporate world and you are interested in tackling your challenges with imposter syndrome and that kind of persistent self-doubt that you are experiencing, and you want to become more authentic and more confident in your role, I invite you to book a free 90-minute session with me through the link that is in the post. There is no commitment to work with me after the session unless we both decide that we would like to explore a full coaching partnership. And as always, with that, I will leave you with loads of love. I hope this was helpful. Send me a message, leave me a DM, ask me questions, and I, my friends, will see you in the next video. Bye.